everyone, in this lesson we are going to be looking at creating animations in Unity and how we can do that inside of Godot. So here inside of Unity, I've gone ahead and created a new little ball right here, and I've then opened up the animation window and created a ball move animation which looks something like this. Okay, nice and simple. And inside of Unity, whenever we create an animation, it creates two files. So if I go to my project file, you'll see here we have both the animation file asset itself and the animation controller for that game object. So if I select the ball, you'll see it has the animator component right here with the ball controller. And this allows us to transition between different animations. But if we just create one simple animation, it's going to play automatically like so. Okay, I'm sure you already know about creating animations in Unity. So now let's hop over to Godot and have a look at how we can do the exact same thing. So here in Godot, I've got a similar scene setup right here. I have a ball, and I want this ball to move around similar to how it's done inside of Unity. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, we don't just open up the animation window and begin animating the ball. What we need to do is add a node that is going to play the animation. So on our ball right here, I'm going to right click, go add child node, and I'm going to search for AnimationPlayer. So the AnimationPlayer node allows us to specify and define animations for this specific node, which is sort of acting as the animation controller. Now what we're going to do is with this animation player selected, you should see at the bottom this animation window appears. If it doesn't, simply click it down here and it should appear. Now to create a new animation, we're going to click on this little button right here and select new. And in here, we're going to write down the animation name. So I'm just going to call this one ball_move and hit OK. Now, overall, the animation editor is quite similar to the one inside of Unity. On the left-hand side, you have your different properties, and on the right-hand side, you have your timeline. Inside of Godot, it's a similar way, but instead of properties, as it is defined here inside of Unity, we have tracks. So to modify this ball's position, what we can do is go down to the animation window right here and click on the little plus icon. And in here, we can choose what type of track we wish to create. I'm going to select 3D position track, and then this is going to open up with a little window. And it's going to ask us to pick a node to animate. I'm going to select my ball right here and click OK. And there we go. So we have the ball position track on the left-hand side here defined, and on the right-hand side, we have our timeline. Now, in Unity, when you're creating your animation, the duration is kind of dependent on what keyframes you have, whereas in Godot, we have to define the length beforehand. So we can do that by clicking and dragging on this little white arrow to define the length, or specify it here in this little input field. So I might go 5 seconds. Now to press play, we don't press spacebar, but we press D, and then we can press S to pause, and then S again to go back to the start. Okay, so D and S like so. We can also click and drag to move the playhead around like so, similar to Unity. And in terms of the overall animation workflow, it is basically the same. We are creating keyframes, and each of those keyframes basically defines a new piece of data for that property to be set to, and all the space in between keyframes is where we transition. So I'm going to drag it right to the start here, and to create a keyframe, the easiest way to do that is simply by right-clicking on the track here and go Insert Key. Now we can select this key, and in the inspector, we can set basically what property, what value we want to assign to the property. Let's drag that back to time 0 here. And for the position, let's just set it to be a Y position of 2 to begin with. And there we go. Then we can drag the playhead across. We can then right click again, insert key. And you'll see if two keys have the same value, they have this white line sort of going across. So to select a key, you can double click on it, and that's going to move the playhead over. We can then adjust our position here, so maybe -3, and then you'll see if I move the playhead forward a little bit, it'll transition between those there. We can then also add another keyframe, double click on it, maybe bring the Y position up a little bit, and bring the X over, so we have something like that. And then finally, we might have one more, which is going to probably just bring it back down about here. So this is our animation right here, and if I press S, or if I press D, it's going to play it like so. Now, by default, the way that the keyframes animate between each other is going to be in a linear fashion. So you can kind of see it's kind of bouncing directly between the points. Whereas in Unity, if I open that up, you'll see our animation kind of has some smoothness applied to the keyframes. So it kind of smoothly transitions between them. To have this feature inside of Godot, what we can do is go over to the right-hand side of our track, and you're going to see this little drop down here, the interpolation mode. By default, it's set to linear, but we can enable cubic, which essentially gives us that nice smoothing as we see inside of Unity here. Okay, so we're going to save that, but what you'll notice is that if I go ahead and press play, the animation doesn't play. The reason being is by default, the animation doesn't really do anything. So to have this animation play at the start of the game, we're going to go down to the animation window with the animation player selected and click on this button right here, autoplay on load. Then we can save and press play. And as you can see, the animation is then going to play. So that is a look at creating animations in Godot from a Unity perspective. Hey everyone, in this lesson we are going to be looking at the differences and similarities between creating UI elements in Unity and Godot. So in Unity we create UI elements using a canvas, which is essentially a container for different UI elements such as text, buttons, sliders, etc. Okay, and this exists inside of the Unity workspace. So if I exit 2D mode here, you can see even in the 3D view, this canvas still exists. And you'll see that all of these objects here that I am placing on the canvas, their positions are still in terms of units. And the reason why my canvas is so big is because 1 pixel essentially equals 1 unit. Now, Unity has a system of anchoring our elements, so we can select an element and then we can anchor them to a certain point on the screen or along a certain axis, and this allows us to determine how these elements resize and position based on different screen resolutions and aspect ratios. Okay, and this is great for developing different dynamic UIs. And also on our UIs, we can change the scaling mode. By default, it's constant pixel size, meaning that if I were to go ahead and change the resolution of being very large, you'll see that the UI elements are shrinking because they basically have their width and height be the exact same no matter the screen resolution. Or what we can do is we can go over to our canvas and we can change the scaling mode from constant pixel size to scale with screen size. Now, as I change the resolution on my screen, the UI elements will remain the exact same dimensions because they're being scaled up. Now, these are all things that Godot has. So let's go have a look at how we can set up our UI in Godot with a few minor differences. So here we are inside of our Godot scene. And what we need to first of all understand is that the UI, unlike Unity, does not really exist in the same space as our 3-dimensional game, okay? Because Godot really splits their 2D and their 3D, whereas Unity combines the two in the same workspace. And that's very obviously seen at the top here where we have our 2D and our 3D workspace. If we go into 2D mode here, you'll see that we can't see any of our 3D elements. That is because, again, Godot divides up the nodes into different sort of categories. You've got 3D, 2D, and UI nodes, or control nodes. And likewise, in 3D, we can't see any of our 2D elements. So when we're developing UI in Godot, we're doing that over in the 2D workspace. Now, how do we do that? Well, if you're working on a 3D game and you want UI to be on your camera, the easiest way of doing this is by creating a CanvasLayer node. Now, a CanvasLayer node, essentially, this is our canvas as you would see inside of Unity. And here in 3D, you can't see anything. So if we switch over to 2D mode now, again, you won't really notice anything. There is no real presence in this 2D space here, but rather we have this little blue rectangle. And this blue rectangle represents our screen's resolution and aspect ratio. So this is going to be however many pixels wide our screen is and however many pixels high it is. So any UI elements we want to add to our game will be placed inside of this blue rectangle here. So to create a text, for example, we can right click on CanvasLayer, go add child node. And if we clear the search bar and go down to where we have the green control nodes, these are essentially our UI nodes, you'll see there is a wide list of all these different types. Now, Godot has two forms of text nodes. We have a default label, which allows us to just create text, give it a font, apply some outlines, stuff like that. And then they have a rich text label, which allows you to have rich text, such as bold, italics, underline, strike through, those sorts of things. So for our case, we're going to create a label like so. Now, this is going to create the new node as a child of the canvas layer, and it will appear on screen here. Very similar to Unity, we can click and drag on these little orange circles to resize it and move it around like so. In the inspector, we can modify the text property here to give it some text. So here I'm just going to say text in Godot. But you may struggle to find the font size. Now, this is done over here in LabelSettings. For this, we have to create a new sub-resource for LabelSettings like so, open it up, and then here is where you'll find font, and then the font size, which we can modify like so. We can also adjust the alignment by going down to horizontal and vertical alignment. So this can all be adjusted very similar to how it's done inside of Unity, and all these other features are similar, but there's also some new interesting ones that you can explore here to get the exact sort of text that you wish. Now, another thing that is similar to Unity is the system of anchoring, okay? Inside of Unity, if we want to anchor this text, for example, right now I have it anchored to the top center of our screen, and this can be done by clicking on the little anchor box in the rect transform component, where we can choose exactly the anchoring layout we want, or we can go ahead and manually change the anchors right here. Well, the exact same thing is done over in Godot. Now, if I select my text, I'm just going to close LabelSettings here. We want to scroll down to where we have layout, and inside of layout, you'll see here anchors preset. If we click on the little drop down, you'll see it's very similar to Unity. We can change exactly what sort of anchor layout we want. Now, I want this to be anchored to the top center, so I'm going to select center top right there. And something else is also pretty helpful is the fact that it moves the element as well to sort of snap to that anchor. So we don't really have to move this text now. Creating a button is in a very similar manner. We right click on the canvas layer, add child node, we can search for button, and you'll see there are a number of different types of buttons. You see we have the base button here, and then we have check button, color picker button. There's quite a wide range of different things. We're just going to choose the default button right here and create that. Now, let's resize it, move it around, and unlike Unity, it does not contain a child node for the text. Rather, the text is baked into the button node itself. So if we go over to the inspector, you'll see we have a text field here, and we can write down what text we want to appear on the button. And inside of Unity, on our buttons, if we scroll down to its component, we have the OnClick event right here, which gets triggered when we click on the button, and we can then add a new listener here and connect that to a function on a script. It's done in a different manner inside of Godot. Inside of Godot, there is no real little UI element here for the click event. Rather, with the button selected, we have to go over to the signals dock at the top right corner, and you'll see here we have 4 different signals, which are essentially events in Godot that get triggered whenever certain events happen, for when the button is down, up, pressed, and toggled. So there's a bit more interactability that way by default with the buttons in Godot. And these can also, of course, then be connected to your scripts by double-clicking on them, selecting the node that contains your script, and you can then also choose a custom function, or you can write a new function name here, and it will be created inside the script. So that is how the different elements are similar, but also different than the ones inside of Unity. Now let's look at scaling. If I go ahead and play the game, what you'll notice is that when I scale the screen down, you'll see that the text elements, of course, retain their size, similar to how it is inside of Unity. But what if you want the elements to scale with the screen? So the smaller the screen is, the smaller the buttons and text are. Well, for this, we're going to go to Project and then Project Settings. And then inside of our project settings, we're going to go on the left-hand side down to where we have Display, Window. And here we're going to scroll down to where we have Stretch. Now here we can define the mode and the aspect. Okay, the mode essentially determines what sort of stretching is in place. By default, that is disabled. If we select canvas items, this means that all of the different UI items on our screen are going to be scaled. Then we can change the aspect. This determines how the aspect ratio changes when our screen resolution and width and height get modified. By default, keep means that the same aspect ratio will be persisted no matter what resolution we're at, whereas ignore will change the aspect ratio to match the resolution. So now if we go ahead and play our game, you should see that when I change the resolution of the screen, the text elements are going to modify like so and scale up and down.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, you'll love Zenva Academy. 300 courses where you learn by actually building games. Links in the description.